The concept of house camping or house camping in itself, it's a really interesting idea, an interesting way to save money on utilities in the weather that's mild weather. Usually, it's so much easy. It's quite easy. It's so much easier to just camp inside the house. And sometimes people misunderstand camping in the house. I don't know. It's really kind of basic. But just the reasons behind it, or just some people are not used to it. Maybe just to explain the logic of it, it's like when you go into a forest and there's a cabin. A cabin is a house. So when people camp in a cabin, they have their restroom there. They have it depends on the cabin, but some cabins they have the restroom and sometimes it's a compost toilet, or sometimes it's connected to a septic tank, or sometimes has connected to a sewer system. And it's a cabin. So it's a house. It's basically a house. So technically, house camping, it's already been covered in camping in a cabin. And cabins sometimes have everything, but with cabins, sometimes, with cabins, yeah, you have, usually with some cabins, you have everything you need. I mean, you have your water, you're already connected to water, you're connected to the sewer system, you're connected to the electricity sometimes. Well, and nowadays, I mean, it does vary. I mean, there's some cabins that have solar panels, so you have the renewable energy, which is also really good. And some cabins connect to the septic tank instead of the sewer system. And sometimes when it comes to the water, sometimes it could be the well water instead of just utility water. So it's one of those things. But going back to the camping instead of a house in any city, it says, if it's your house, you own it. I mean, if you want to save money and just, don't use too much of electricity. I mean, if the weather is mild, and, you're not going to get extremely cold or extremely hot. So you can turn off quite a few things. I think house camping, the differentiation a little bit from cabin camping is that some cabins, yes, it's like there's nothing there except just your compost toilet. And sometimes you have to even water sometimes. So some of them might not have the utilities and some of them have everything. So those that don't have the utilities, the idea with house camping is if you want to save money on your utilities, so you can always get solar lights, and with the idea with solar lights, there's some lights that will work for 10 hours on a full charge. So, and they're like $20 or something. They come with a panel and with the light, and some of them come with remote control. So, and the idea is maybe get like 5 of those and use like 2 and use 2 or use 1 at a time, or 2 at a time, or just also buy a battery lamp also, and use a battery lamp for a few days until those 5 solar lights get fully charged, and then start using just 2 of them. So use 2 of them. Well, I mean, see, so it's one of those things. Technically, even if you get 4 like 4 or 5 solar lights, and you start using 2 right away, but you don't use the other ones until they get fully charged. And once they get fully charged, you start using them, and you let go of the 2 that you used before. So they usually will work for like 4 or 5 hours or something, and even just right away. So you can kind of use them for 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes, I mean, when it's nighttime, you usually go to sleep. Some people usually turn off the lights anyways. Some people like the lights on. I'm showing examples, the scenarios. Some people like to turn the lights off. So you use the solar lights that you have, let's say about 5, and you use 2 of them, and you have like 4 hours out of them. So technically, so use them for the 4 hours, and then it's nighttime, you turn them off and you go to sleep, basically. And then so when you get up in the morning, they'll get charged up, and you might be able to use them again for another 4 hours or something. It depends really on the sun exposure, on the light exposure, what kind of solar panels, what kind of solar lights it might be. So it really depends. But the idea is with the solar lights is to use 2 or 3 or something, or just 1, until the rest get as much charge as possible, and then start using maybe 2 out of them, and second, rotate them. So instead of using all 5, you're using 1 or 2, and then basically until the other ones get the full charge. So then so if you had 5, then the 3 now have full charge. It's 10 hours apiece. So now if you have 2 turned on, you have 20 hours of light. So if you get those that you can turn them on and off, it's even better. So there's some that automatically will turn on and off, and some that you can actually turn it on and off if you want to. So if you can turn them on and off, you can really benefit if you have like 5 or more. So you can just use 1 or 2 while the rest are charging, getting a full charge. So you get that 10-hour charge. So if you got 5, you use 2, the 3, until the 3 got the full 10-hour charge. So the next day, you have 3, so you have 30 hours of light, basically, of light usage from them. And they usually, they automatically start charging during the daytime, and then they turn off at nighttime. So that's one of those things. And if you have the remote control, you can turn them on and off. So the idea is whatever number is best, is just to get a bigger number of them and just use 1 or 2 for a little while until the rest get the full 10-hour charge. And then you just have, so then that battery will hold that charge. And if anything, if you're not using them, they'll continue to recharge every day. They'll continue to recharge until you remove them. So in the sense that technically if you're using 1 or 2 once in a while, the rest will be always at a full charge. So whenever you need to use the light for 10 hours straight, you can just turn 1, it'll give you 10 hours straight. But then of course next day, it's not going to get fully recharged. It's probably going to get recharged maybe 50% or something. But it depends on the sun. It depends on the location. Sometimes you can get fully recharged and you get another 10 hours. Or you can get maybe 4 hours or 5 hours. So if you don't use it in wait another day, then it's probably going to get the full charge. But in the meantime, sparingly using the other light. So it's like a combination sometimes. Sometimes you can get a battery light, then you get solar lights. So officially you have solar lights. But in addition, you have a battery light. So sometimes you can use your solar lights from time to time and then let them fully recharge. But in the meantime, use your battery light, a battery lamp, a battery lamp basically. So that's another idea. So it's so easy to have light basically in your house. If you have a battery lamp and then you have all these solar lights, and as long as you give them some time to get that full charge, if you get those that have that 10-hour usage when they're fully charged. So you always have those that you're not using as your backup 10-hour light. So if you have 5 and you're only using 1 or 2 sparingly, the 3 in 1 or 2 days or 3 days, it depends on the weather, will get that full charge. They'll have 10 hours in them, and so they're your backup. So you need to use the light just 10 hours straight. You can just flip that other light that's fully charged, and not use the other ones you were using sparingly. Let them recharge. So it's like you can rotate and just leave them alone for 2 days, let them get that full charge while you're using the one that got charged up. They got charged up already. So using that one while the rest are recharging. So that rotation. And some of them are just like regular lights. It's just a matter of just getting 5 or more, or whatever the number, 7 or 8. It's really preference. Maybe 8 or 10 even. If they're like $15 a piece, or some of them could be $15 a piece on sale on eBay. eBay has all kinds of solar lights. Just type in solar light. There's a commercial there for solar lights on eBay. Type it in, and you have all kinds of solar lights. And they're not that expensive. Some are more money, some are less, but there's reasonable ones that can be like $15 or $20 or $12 or $13 or something. So it's so easy to get maybe 8 of them, and just have them and just use 2 or 3 sparingly while the rest get the full charge. And once the rest got full charge, then you just rotate. And then use the ones that are fully charged and let go of the ones you're sparingly using until they get the full charge. Just rotate. So anyway, so it's easy to have solar lights in a house for camping. When it comes to the water pressure, for example, you can use water bottles, technically speaking. If you squeeze the bottle, if you make those 3 holes, 3 pins in the cap, and squeeze the bottle, it becomes pressure. This pressure that comes from it. So you can shower with it, basically. And I mentioned it before. You can lather your body up with soap, and just put a little water in your hand and use the soap or shampoo, whatever you have, body wash, lather that up, apply it on your body, and then take that bottle and start squeezing it, and that pressure water will just, with that pressure water, wash off that soap from your head, also from your hair and from your body, and it's basic. It's really basic, and it's done. You know, you took a shower, a basic shower with a bottle of water. In some ways, there's a benefit if there's a water that some people really like. Sometimes they like, you know, Evian or, you know, the fancy water, really good water, right? Compared to the tap water. Sometimes there's more benefits of showering with the bottled water as long as it's safe, as long as it's not messed up, nothing's added into it. As long as it's safe, you know, then you can shower with really good water. You know, you can apply it on your body. You know, feel that even more refreshing feeling. The cleanest water, right? And if people sometimes think, well, you know, this is drinking water. Well, tap water is also drinking water. And if you're the house owner, you're paying for the tap water. So it's, you know, so you're just paying a little bit more for the bottled water, which is also drinking water. So if you want to take a shower with it, I mean, just like with tap water, you know, some people drink it. So the idea of it's perfectly fine if you want to take a shower with Evian water, if you like, or, you know, or any kind of water, or just generic brand water, just generic brand bottled water. In the sense that, but it's even more cleaner. It's more, if nothing's added into it, if it's safe, it's even more cleaner than the tap water. It's even more nicer, you know, and more refreshing. So yeah, so that's really easy in the sense if you have those bottled waters, just make those 3 pins and squeeze it, and there's pressure in the water, and with that pressure, you can wash everything off. So you have pressure water. I mean, on top of it, it'd be nice to have a little one of those. There's a USB powered pump that pumps the water out from the bottle. You can get a 5-gallon bottle of water from the store also delivered to you. You know, usually, or just get it yourself with your vehicle, and you can put that pump on it and just press the button, and it'll pump the water out, so you can wash your hands with that way. And that pump it's really inexpensive, maybe $15, $20 or something. It's USB powered. You can charge it up, and that charge is really good. I mean, the battery holds the charge for a long time, a couple of months even, maybe, hopefully. But so it's really pretty cool. The coolest thing is that it holds the charge. I mean, it depends how many times you use it and press it. The only thing is, a lot of water comes out of it versus if you squeeze the bottle. If you squeeze the bottle, you're actually saving more water. There's less water consumption. So that's a huge benefit. If you just make 3 little pins, little holes with your little pin on the cap, and you squeeze it, that water that comes out, you will save a lot of water. It's much less consumption. If you press that USB powered pump, you're going to lose quite a bit of water, but it becomes a regular faucet basically. So technically, you can charge that pump and have it for 2-3 months charged up, and you don't even have to be connected to utilities or to use it as an example, as an option, to the utilities or to the well water. You don't have to be connected to it. As long as you have those 5-gallon bottles full of water for you, with the pump, you can use that, or just buy a lot of small bottles of water and make those 3 holes and squeeze. I mean, the pump is really nice because you have to hold the bottle with your hand. You're washing your both hands at the same time. But with the bottled water, when it comes to washing your hands, you can still kind of get away with it. I mean, you might have to maybe use 2 bottles of water, so then you can just get the full rinse. So if you use 2, you'd probably be okay. I mean, because you can just rotate. If you use antibacterial soap and you wash both of your hands and squeeze the bottle gets some of the antibacterial soap on it. But if you get the majority of your hands and then just use another bottle to rinse off what you have on your hands, then you can get most of it rinsed off. And then just use paper, and with the paper just kind of thoroughly dry up your hands, and you're okay. So you can use bottled water for your hands. I mean, it's just a matter of you're probably using two just in case. And I'm sure people can come up with, or if somebody holds it and squeezes it for you while you're washing your hands, that's the other option. Somebody holds it, and I'm sure they can come up with some kind of a really inexpensive tool, well, not tool, whatever you call it, to connect to an invention that connects to that bottle, maybe and to a little pedal or something. We can just press the pedal and it'll squeeze the bottle, and the bottle will release the pressure, instead of you squeezing it with your hand. So you put it in a little pouch or something, connected to something, to a little pedal where you can, it's an idea right there too, I'm sharing a little bit there. You press the pedal and the location where you place the bottle, it squeezes it for you, and it's facing down. So as it squeezes, the water comes out with pressure, and you wash your hands without holding it. That's something that they might have something similar. They might have something similar to it, but I'm sure they can come up with something more cheaper and inexpensive as an invention, where you just place the bottle to a certain location. It's connected to a few metal pieces that connect to a paddle or something, or wooden pieces. Well, probably metal pieces. Connect to the pedal and you just press on the pedal, and then the bottle gets squeezed. And so as it gets squeezed, because you make those 3 holes, and the water's going to come out. And so so I'm sure they can come up with something like that eventually. But overall, you can just squeeze with one hand, wash one hand, and take that bottle with the other hand, and then wash the other hand. You can rotate the bottles, right? And then just get another bottle just to rinse off the soap residue that you got on one of your hands. So if you use 2 bottles, you should be okay. So once again, it's like when you have that antibacterial soap on both hands, and you're squeezing the first bottle with one of the hands. So you're leaving the residue on that bottle, but you're washing just hand number 1. So you wash that hand number 1, then you grab with your hand number 1, grab the same bottle, start washing your hand number 2, and then as a result, your hand number 2 is fully clean, but your hand number 1 has the residue of that soap and a bit of dirt. So then you grab another bottle in your hand number 2, and you rinse your hand number 1. So then you rinse your hand number 1, and you're good. So you cover both hands. So you need usually 2 bottles in that sense. So then you wash out that soap residue from one of your hands, and any kind of dirt that was mixed with it. But once again, antibacterial soap usually kills the germs. So even if you have a little bit of dirt with antibacterial soap, it usually kills it. But you're just rinsing it off from that other hand. So and so you can get away with just washing your hands. One person can get away with washing hands with 2 small bottles or bigger size bottles of water. Or somebody just holds it for them, squeezes it, and they're washing their hands under it. I mean, that's not an option. But even just one person can get away with it, as long as they have like two bottles. So when it comes to washing hands, so every time they wash hands, in that sense of it, yeah. So that kind of covers that. So that's the possibilities. Okay, so if the people want to save money and they just want to what if they just want to turn off the utilities for a little while? Because the weather is really good, it's mild, it's nice, it's perfect, and they just want to camp. They just want to camp instead of a house. So it's like camping instead of a cabin. Cabin is a house. Cabin without much of anything other than a compost toilet. Let's say it's a remote area and it's just a compost toilet, right? So go into the compost toilet idea. So technically, if you turn off your toilet, and which is basically the water to the toilet, if you just turn it off, you can flush the toilet with a bucket of water, with a bigger size bucket or regular size, a bit bigger size, with water or any kind of liquid. So if you add soap into that liquid, dishwashing soap as an example, dishwashing soap into it, you add it to it always helps and it creates a good flush. So technically, usually when you go number one, if you go, it doesn't stay too much in the toilet. It's just a number two. And number two, you need to flush. So there's a few scenarios for that. I mean, one scenario is if you live in an area where there's a lot of rain, and let's say the house can collect rainwater, and let's say you have a basement, you can always get a pool put in the basement, and then connect the pipes. Let's say pipes. Connect the the way the roof system is designed, the water that runs off the roof, there's usually so much water that runs off of it. If you can just redirect it towards that pool could be outside also, if it's a safe area. The pool could be inside of the basement. It could be a big pool or an official storage tank for water. Either way. And you can just redirect that water from the roof into it. So whenever it's really a lot of rain, just collect as much as you can, and then get a hose into that pool, and run it up, run it into the house, and connect it to the toilet. Connect it to the toilet. If anything, you have to connect it to the toilet. You can just put it on the top, just lay it on the top of the toilet tank. Just open up the tank and lay it on the top, and then that connection, that water connection inside of your house that you have, just unscrew it, buy a cap, and screw the thing with a cap, so you close it off. So now the tank is closed off. It's not going to leak. You disconnected it from the water line that's in the house, but you close it up with a cap. And so now you have this hose from the water tank. And if you can have a pump that is connected with the hose, and you turn it on, if you turn it on, it's going to pump the water right out of the tank, out of that, into the tank, out of the your storage tank, your storage water tank, or your pool, wherever you collect that rainwater, is going to pump that water out of it into your toilet. So then it's a matter of patience. It's a matter of whenever you go number 2, you would have to, because so you have a flush, you have like 1 or 2 flushes in the toilet. So once, if the tank is full, or is it maybe just 1 flush, 1.5 or something. Let's say 1 flush. So you have 1 flush in the toilet. So when it's full, you have 1 flush. So if you need 2 flushes, you would have to press that button and it'll start pumping water, and you have to wait until the water gets to the tank just enough for that second flush. So then you turn it off, turn the pump, and you flush the toilet the second time. And the third time, turn on the pump again, wait for the water to come in, turn it off. So there's a little bit of patience, but it's kind of a unique opportunity for anyone that lives where there's a lot of rain and they have a house with the roof and there's a lot of rainwater coming down. They can really stable that water and connect that hose with the pump into a tank, a toilet tank, and of course it's connected to a toilet tank from the utility line, from the water line, and by a cap, close it off so it's not going to leak, and just refill it that way whenever you need that flush. It makes you feel like you can set the system up more like a home flush system. It only requires a little patience. So because after you use it, you got to wait until that water runs back in, and then you got to turn it off at the right moment. So until that tank is fully, that full 1 flush refill, you turn it off, and that's about it in that sense. But that's one option. The other option would be using any kind of liquids, and from time to time add dishwashing soap or some kind of soap into it, and into a bucket. When you go number 2, you have to flush it with the bucket. And that flush of water will flush it down, and it will go down. So, some people were not aware of that fact. So it's really like camping. So when you do that, you're really camping. It's like a compost toilet. Here's that idea. A big bucket on top of a toilet. When you go number 1, you go into that bucket until it gets to that really full status. And then whenever you go number 2, you use that to flush your number 2. So that's really an example of a compost toilet, almost. Compost toilet that anybody can have. All you got to do is, if you have a toilet, just get a bucket. You don't even have to disconnect the water line or anything. If you turn off your water for a couple of months just because you want to camp and all that stuff, save your money on all utility bills. As an example, I'm just doing that. Just as an example. So yeah, all you got to do is have that bucket. Go number 1 into that bucket until it's pretty full. When you go number 2, empty that bucket. Add some soap into it. Add some dishwashing soap into it, and flush your number 2. That really conserves water, quite a bit of water. That's another option. Another option is just having water and having it out of liquids that you can fill your buckets with and flush. You can just go to your pool if you don't have the pump and get a bucket and just refill it. Go back and then flush it. So I think number 1, usually, if you go into the toilet tank itself, when the water is turned off in it, it usually will just go down. I don't know if it depends on the specific toilet or not. Is it certain toilets let the water just... So you go number 1, it usually goes down. It usually doesn't stay on the top. It's just your number 2, you need liquids to flush. So technically if you have that what do you call it? That setup, as I would say, that rainwater setup, where you have that pump and the hose and everything. So that's something that's really beneficial. Then you can just really go number 1 into the toilet, and it's not gonna fill up. So it's gonna go down basically. It's just gonna be a little bit left in it, so it's not gonna be too much at all. And And then whenever you go number 2, you use the flush. You just flush it. So that's another option of doing something in that sense. So it's one of those things. It's that really helps to understand the options when it comes to camping, for whatever reason it is. Is it you're trying to save some money and you just want to see what it's like to camp? Like if you're somewhere in a cabin where there's nothing there, except a compost toilet, and you just want to experience that instead of a house, whatever the reasons behind it, we just want to save money. I'm just throwing that as an example, as an idea. So you have your bottled water for pressure, take a shower to wash your hands. You have once again, you have that house compost toilet, that new kind of compost toilet where you have that bucket over the toilet to go number 1 in the bucket, have enough in that bucket so you can flush number 2 with it. Or you can have that connection to the water storage that you have from that collection of the roof water running down. There's quite a bit of water that runs down the roof. So anywhere there's a lot of rain, it's a really, really good saving money way to have water for flushing. And of course, they can always purify that water, get 2 purifiers, or purify it like 2 times or something, and try it. I don't know. It's one of those things. It depends on the safest thing is for flushing. It's definitely perfect for flushing. For anything else, it'd be nice to just buy bottled water. Just buy a bottled water for drinking, bottled water for washing hands, bottled water for taking a shower. So, and once again, the benefits of bottled water, it's like a spa or something. It's like a spa. If you buy that expensive bottled water that's like all natural from out there, and you don't need too much, really. You don't need too much at all. So yeah, take a shower with it. So it brings out a refreshing feeling. If it's really, really unique water from out of those, those remote locations, from the mountains, from, all those, it's super clean, it's one of those things. It's to experience something like that. Yeah, it's like a sauna, really. It's like a spa. Maybe not a sauna, but like a spa or something. We use fancy water in your shower, fancy water, and not the just the tap water. Of course, you can always have a water purifier for the tap water, but even that's not the same, because they do that remote osmosis on that bottled water and stuff like that. So it's super clean, and really exotic and from remote areas of the world, right? Of the world. So it's one of those things. Just an idea, throw it out there. So that basically helps to see the options a person has if they have a house and they just want to camp in it, or they have a condo, they want to camp in it. If the weather's permitting, the weather's nice, it's mild weather and all that stuff. Not extremely hot, not extremely cold. Because if it's extremely hot, then you need a lot of solar system with your AC. Of course, if you have your solar system set up with your AC, then you should be okay if it's extremely hot. And if it's extremely cold, you need a solar system with a heater or propane tank that can heat up the room or the rooms. I mean, there's always options to get, and if the house is insulated or not, and all those things. But if you get the propane tanks, and if you get those other things that you need, then that kind of covers those other times of the year. But for the mild weather location, I mean, all those locations with the mild weather, sometimes you can just get away with just turning off the utilities and having your solar lights, and having your bottled water, and having your bucket on the toilet, and it's a camp really. And so the idea is to save money. You can save money that way on your utilities, and anybody else that enjoys camping that way, maybe they can be offered a lower rent or something, right? They pay a smaller amount for rent because the utilities are turned off. So those that enjoy camping, maybe they can save money that way too. It's a really good opportunity maybe to help others that like camping instead of a house, that don't feel uncomfortable with it, that like it, just like camping basically, to save money, to charge them less, because if the utilities are turned off, then it'll be less, versus a regular renting a room or anything. So there's a potential of offering people a place to stay, a place to just sleep, maybe a place to sleep, for the night, and then go back and do what they're doing out there, and charge them a small amount so they can save money, so they can, improve their life over time. It's one of those things. It's always about finding a way somehow to save some money so you can pay your bills, so you can and maybe invest in something, and of course get something that you need. It's one of those things. Sometimes it's worth to just, as long as you're safe, as long as everything's okay, and there's ways of having what you need to have. And just technically, the cell phone a person really needs is a fully charged cell phone. If you have a fully charged smartphone basically, fully charged smartphone, that's pretty much usually what you really need when it comes to camping. When it comes to camping, I mean, to be connected, to get things done, that's all you need really. As long as you have that, I mean, and then you're just doing your thing, whatever you're doing in life. But when you come in, you have your cell phone, you're okay. There's so many things you can do on your cell phone. I mean, so many things. And so, you can watch CNN on your cell phone. You get those magnifiers from eBay that magnify the phone to 14-inch screen for like $14, and you can then subscribe to online cable, basic cable, if you have the money, of course. But $40 or $50, I'm not sure how much it is, but something like that. And you have your basic channels on your phone. And if you use the magnifier, you have a 14-inch TV screen, basically, which is a phone screen, but magnified. But you have it, and you have your connection to all the cable channels. You can be anywhere. As long as there's an internet connection through the phone, you can be connected to watch, it's like you're home watching TV, it's just like you're at your own house watching TV or something, You can be connected to anything you need through a smartphone. As long as it's, fully charged and you're able to use it, or charged enough, there's enough charge so it can be used. Just throwing out there, the idea is sometimes you can camp and save money and then improve your life. And so it's a beautiful thing in many ways. Just throwing out there so the camping, the explanation of house camping. If you're in circumstances, that's what you need to do. Hey, it's your house, so if you want to save money, as long as you're safe, as long as you're okay, as long as you have your light, you have your water from the bottled water, you have your compost toilet, you have your toilet, everything should be supposed to be okay, technically speaking, if you own the house. I mean, it's supposed to be, it's like, it's your house, right? So in a sense, so you think that way, you think, hopefully everything would be okay, and so the person, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. And so as an option to rent to others if they like camping. And see, the idea is sometimes when you camp in your car, when you dry camping is you're not connected to anything. You're in a remote area. And they'll charge you $400 for just dry camping, or $300 or $250, just so you can have a place where you can just camp, and that's it. There's nothing, and the electricity is separate. So if you camp inside of a house and they charge you like $150 or $200 or something for a month, or $150 or $200, something like that. I mean, if there's electricity, maybe $200 or something. I don't know. It depends really. It depends on just out there. We're out there in the middle of nowhere in your own car just to be parked somewhere. They'll charge you $300, $400, and they don't connect you to anything. And it's like, so it's a better deal to just camp inside of your house and have everything. It's not sit in your car for the whole day and night. So it's like, and be overcharged for it. I mean, camping sometimes in some places is just almost the same as renting a room, or more. I mean, some places you can rent a room for $300. Camping will be $400 or $500 just to sit in your car, and that's it, in the remote area, and there's the parking space. I mean, this is in this country, in America. So, I mean, in some places it might be $300, it might be $250. It depends on the state, it depends on the location, those things. But it's like, it's almost better to camp inside of a house. Why be in that circumstance where you waste all your money? And then if you camp somewhere in a remote area, there's uncertainty, there's no safety, you never know what could happen, and it's just not a good thing, taking a chance. But camping inside of a house, it sounds like a pretty reasonable idea if the price is really reasonable because it's, there's no utilities. But there's bottled water once again for pressure, or with the pump water, and of course there's a toilet, and so I mean the things that are needed are there, but it's just it's a little bit different. But anyways, it's just an option. It's an option for some people. I mean, that way, if they offer lower rent for that camping style, then they can help others to save money. At the same time, they might make something, or kind of help themselves too, in a sense. But it's one of those things. Because otherwise, sometimes utilities are so expensive, and if you rent to somebody, you have to charge them a lot of money to rent a room. So otherwise, it makes no sense to renting sometimes if your utilities are so expensive. Sometimes you can barely cover your utilities, but just by renting a room to somebody. So when your utilities are turned off and you're saving money that way, and you took care of them by having the pressure water, by having your toilet, by having all that stuff, the compost toilet, all that stuff, inside of your house, and you charge less, maybe that be a better deal in the sense of when it comes to making a little bit or something. It's one of those things. It's just an idea, just an explanation of for some, and it really varies on the country, on the culture, on whatever it might be, on preference. But you think that if you like camping inside of a cabin that sometimes has pretty much nothing except the compost toilet, it sounds like a pretty good idea if you own a house to try it out inside of your house and save money, maybe rent a camping space or inside of the house, or a room or something, or just a bed or a futon, and it's another thing. A nice futon. It's a perfect thing to have in a camping house, somebody that's camping, so they can put their stuff underneath it. They can sit on it during the daytime, then they lay on it as a bed, make it flat. So it's one of those things. It's a kind of nice idea for a camping house, even to just let people. They can look at it as a hostel, also a hostel house where there's 4 or 5 people inside of a room on a bunk bed. They can always look at it as just giving everyone a futon instead of a big room. So if you get 4 or 5 futons, 4 or 5 people each have a futon instead of a bunk bed or something. Because in hostels there's a bunk bed, and depends on the size. Some hostels have like 20 bunk beds in a room. Some have 10, some have 12, 5. And the less the bunk beds, the more price it is. The more bunk beds, the less the price. But they're still pricey. It's still pricey. It's like $500 a month, $600 a month. And you can be in a room of like 40, 50 people or something. Some places in California and LA, I think they have like 40, 50 bunk beds in one big room, and they charge everybody $400, $500 or $600 or something just for a bed. So it's one of those things. So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Futon, a nice futon that folds. So yeah, that's what they're renting as a camper. So they sit on it during the daytime, do the thing. If they have to be out there during the daytime, they fold it, sleep on it at nighttime. They put their stuff underneath it. Get some lockers, with locks, so everybody have their own stuff, private stuff that they need, or just their own personal stuff locked, and they have the key to it. So that's that idea. Throwing out that idea of kind of helping others and maybe helping yourself a little bit as a result at the same time, or hopefully, usually people will do it as a result of helping themselves, usually, but it's one of those things. It could be a charity too. You never know. It could be a ministry too. It could be, it's one of those things. Anybody can make that happen as long as they own a house and they can make it happen in that way, and they can help people save money. They charge them a reasonable rate, $150, $200 or something for the month. And that sounds pretty fair, I think. Just throwing out that idea. Glory be to God. Hallelujah. This is Mark V. Markov saying, God bless everyone.